It says going live, going live. Woo! We did it. Okay.
We're live.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Welcome to, is this the second annual? No, third. Third, not annual because it's not annual, but the third monthly chat on While They Were Napping. Yay! Woohoo! Before I introduce my friends, I want you guys all to look on the bottom of your screen, and it will say, join us for the chat live, and you can ask all of your Q&A there on that little tab. It should be right at the bottom of your screen. Hopefully you guys see that. Okay, so we have, oops, I'm kicking the table. Calm down, Heidi. Okay, so yeah, I have some friends with me today. I'm so excited because, like, I don't know, it's just so fun to include new people in chat. So we're going to introduce them, and they'll talk about who they are and stuff, and then we'll get into all your questions. Dana, you want to start?
Sure. I am Dana Schmoyer. Me and my family vlog over at Schmovies, youtube.com/Schmovies, or God Rocks. You can choose our old school name or the new whatever. And we are a family of 6. I have 4 kids. My oldest is 5, then 4, then 2, then 8 months. So we are a busy house, and I homeschool kind of. I have to like officially homeschool starting this fall when my oldest turns 6. So we're just kind of playing around with it right now. But just training our kids how to be a family team is our biggest deal for our family right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Kendra, you want to tell us about your charming family?
All right, so my name's Kendra. We vlog over at J House Vlogs. We're daily vloggers. And I also have 4 kids. And my oldest is 6, and my youngest is 1. We have 2 boys and 2 girls. We homeschool, and we love getting out on, like, field trips and service stuff. So I guess I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I don't like to stay home too much, so we go and play a lot. So
I can relate to that. Like, I'm stay-at-home, but I try to get out as much as possible.
Keeps things fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have my friend Anna. Go for it.
Hi. I'm Anna, and my husband and I have a channel. Oh, here we go. Here's my label. Really hard to pick the girls. It's right here. You can just click on that link right there. So we're at Like No One Else, and it followed our debt-free journey and what that looked like to become debt-free, and now we are debt-free. Yay! So now it's kind of subtitled Life After Debt. We have 3 kids and 1 on the way, and I'm due in about 3.5 weeks with number 4.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a little out of place because I just have 3. I know.
Come on, Heidi. Where's number 4?
Slacking. I have a 6-month-old, but I'm slacking already. Yeah. Dawn and I totally joked that 4 is the new 2, so we might as well just add 1 more.
There you go. I've been pregnant with a 6-month-old before, so it's possible. Twice.
All right, I'll have to remember that. Like, I don't know if I'm quite ready, but maybe soon. That was one of the questions someone posted was, are you planning on having more kids? And I just commented back, you'll probably be happy with the answer because people like to see babies. And so, yeah, we are planning on having 1 more. So we're excited, but not quite yet.
Yeah.
So we already have, let's see, we have 12 people watching. Hi, 12 people.
Yay.
I'm so excited to have you. Go ahead and click the tab on the bottom that says join the chat, and you can ask us questions. If you're commenting on the regular YouTube page, I won't see them until after the chat ends. But I'll see them after. So anyway, but if you want to ask a question, click on that. Ariana Fletter from the Fletters channel. Hi, Ariana. She's like, I'm here. Tell me about homeschooling.
What do you want to know? Any specifics or just...
Yeah, I know. I'm just starting out. Aiden was, because he's an October birthday, and also because he has a speech delay, we just held him back a little bit, but really it's not because he would have started anyway this coming fall. But he's doing awesome. He's learning to read. We're really focusing on that first because I want him to have a love of books. And so as soon as he can read, he can dive in and his imagination can take off. So we're doing that, and then just like basics. on the side. And Declan wants to jump right in even though he's 3. So that's where we're at.
Right. Are you still doing the how to teach your kid how to read in 100 easy lessons, or however that title goes?
Yeah, I'll have to link that below after the video for people to see because it's been awesome. And you told me about that, right, Deanna?
Yeah, we're doing it too. We're on lesson 40 now, so we're taking it slow. But we just did like 4 lessons yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm like, look, it's not here. It's usually on the table. But yeah, Aiden has to do his school before Minecraft, so he's always like, teach me. I want to learn. All right.
Get it over with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that book's all that we're doing right now. I'm not concentrating on anything else. Like, our house looks like a preschool, though, so we have the alphabet down our main hallway. We've got the calendar up. We've got a hundreds chart that I didn't even really work with our kids. Hannah just one day told Tim that she could count to 100, and she did it. And Tim asked how she did it, and she said she learned while she was sitting in timeout.
Nice.
Oh. I was like, holy, she's being productive while she's sitting there.
That is a great idea.
So, but that's, I mean, we're taking it really easy. I am doing like the straw counting or whatever, where we're like learning our ones, tens, and hundreds place as well. So we're going along with that with our reading book. So we're on lesson 40. So we have our 4 bundles of 10 right now in our little thing. So.
Awesome.
But pretty much just learning with life. We're not really, I don't know. It doesn't feel like actual strict school, which is nice.
What's your structure like, Anna?
Oh, structure.
I say that like I have any structure at all.
I had structure, and then I got pregnant, and structure flew out the window when I vomited. So I was like, okay, we're done with that. I have a 2nd grader and we're now like already transitioning into kindergarten because she's already 5. So I'm working with her with kindergarten level stuff, but she's not official kindergarten yet, but I'll keep her at kindergarten in the fall and throughout the year next year. And then Colin's preschool, and I don't really go there a whole lot with him. Because really, it's just play at that point, and he loves that. So I'm like, good, you're learning, it's great. We talk about the details with him and stuff that when his curiosity is perked or he has questions. But so we keep it pretty simple with our preschooler. And then with Ella, I printed out in the beginning of the year this whole curriculum, put it in a binder. It was so lovely, and everything was great. And every day we'd sit down, and she'd be like, I'm ready for school. And I'm like, okay, love, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, fast forward, like, a month, and I was, like, in full force nausea. And I was like, yeah, I'm not getting that binder out right now. You can just, like, go and, look at the ABCs on the wall. And so I was kind of like, whatever she wanted to do, I just kind of allowed her, and then I would have more conversations with her about what she was doing. Now it's a little bit different. I do a lot of, because I was so over the binder, I think, you know how when you crave stuff during your first trimester, or you don't want it, you have an aversion to it, like you kind of don't want it again for the rest of your pregnancy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or
That's how I feel about the binder. So I'm like, I'm not going back to that. So I just go onto Pinterest all the time, and I'll just look at preschool and now kindergarten age free printables and stuff. I use like Confessions of a Homeschooler, that blog a lot.
That blog.
Things like that. And I just print things out for her daily, and she really likes it. Right now she's working on sight words for kindergarten, and just kind of gearing up for reading and learning all the phonics and stuff like that. So we're doing that. And then with my 2nd grader, it's a lot more intense. He's actually enrolled in a charter school. And we started out the year doing Charlotte Mason, which is really amazing. And I love Charlotte Mason. And then once we hit the first trimester, everything kind of jolted and became really difficult. And we had to backpedal around the holidays, and we were like, whoa, this is a very big load, and it wasn't going over well with anybody in the house. And so I talked to a lot of people, and I just kind of took it really slow through the holidays. We did work every single day, though, except for, like, Christmas Day and, like, stuff like that. But
Slave driver. Your slave driver. Christmas morning,
know, right?
Stop right now, Mr. Man.
I know, right? Well, we would just do like a little page or something every day because the transitions from out of a break or a weekend back into the week was awful. And so I'm like, well, we'll have a heavier load during the week and then we'll back it off a lot during the weekend, but we'll still do stuff so the transition's not so hard.
Yeah.
So that's worked well. But we kind of switched up the curriculum right after the holidays, and I kind of stopped with Charlotte Mason because I realized that it wasn't clicking with Caleb, which was kind of devastating to me because I love the Charlotte Mason method, and I love her literature. I think it's so great, and I really like her just philosophies behind, what she does or what she did, and the curriculum that she has set up, and so I was sad, but I'm like, I need to do this for my son. So we kind of take it by the seat of our pants right now. I just kind of look at what he needs to be doing as somebody going into 3rd grade and what he needs to know, and we do that. We stick with Math Mammoth, though. That's our math curriculum. Okay. So he does Math Mammoth, and we just try to do like a page of that a day, a page of language arts, and then he reads he's in 2 classes, a science class that he takes like outside of the house, and a lit class. And so he's reading 2 chapter books a month, and he's speed reading, which is so fun because I'm like, you're amazing at reading. It's so cool to see. So we're doing that, and then his science class, and then we just kind of talk about those on those days, and I don't really take it any further than that to keep it kind of easy for us. And then the rest of the week we're working on normal stuff, but every day is different, so it's not really structured. Some days I feel like they need to play first and then do work, and some days I'm like, they'll do better if they work first and then play, or if they have lots of breaks or no breaks, or whatever, until like it's over. So I kind of play it by ear right now. I can't wait for more structure because I'm very structured, but right now it's not the time. They needed a break from the structure of mommy. So
which is perfect for homeschooling because you can really see what each kid needs and meet that need.
I can relate to a lot of what you're saying, Anna. It sounds good. And I get really sick with my pregnancies too. I'm so sorry. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So is that similar for you, Kendra, where it's very similar for you? Do you do charter as well, or are you full?
No, so I kind of lost the feed for a minute, so I came back in, so I don't know if I'm exactly.
No, you're fine.
But, so what we do is my oldest is 6 and he's in kindergarten, and then my next is, she just turned 5, so she'll be in kindergarten next year, and then I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And starting off this year, my kindergartner was already reading, and so that kind of gave me a little bit of a peace of mind that I was like, we're just going to kind of take this slow and follow a lot of his interests, and he loves to read, and so the library and following his passions, like kind of as a family, is a lot of what we've done. We do have a math curriculum. We use Singapore Math and Life with Fred, and I like having the 2 of those together because they're very different in style, and so the rule is you have to do math every day, but you can choose which book you want to do it from. So that works out pretty well for us. And then he does a lot of reading. We start our day with having them do their responsibilities. Like I have a list of these different things, like, you have to brush your teeth, you have to do a chore, you have to read your scriptures and have, make your bed, brush your teeth, those kinds of things. And then the last one on the list is you have to hug mom. And I love that because they come over and give me a big hug, and it's my signal to, okay, now you're ready for your next, kind of direction. And so we have these calendar notebooks that only take about 10 minutes. They were free printables off of Pinterest that I compiled different things. But it's been a great way. We all sit at the kitchen table and they do these. It takes about 10 minutes, and it's a good beginning of our day. It helps us know oh, today's a school day. And anyway, then we do a lot of family style learning because my 3-year-old wants to be a part of it. And so that's really helped keep me very physically active with our learning, which I think goes a lot better for my 5- and 6-year-old too. So I'm grateful, but it kind of is balancing. Anna, when you were just saying it just depends on the day, I keep wanting to make a day in the life of a homeschool mom video, but every day's so different. I'm
I totally know.
if I video a good day, then I'll be like, so then there's like these other days when it totally goes differently. So
And then there's
anyway, and with my 5-year-old, we are doing reading lessons every day. And when I say every day, we shoot for every day, but we play reading games together. She's very kinesthetic, so we try to keep her very up and moving and active when we're doing it. And we use Bob books right now. That's what we're doing. So reading games and Bob books.
Very cool.
Anyway.
I'm just kind of soaking it all in because I'm like right on the verge of like starting all of this. So I'm like, I really the only thing that we've done outside of what I talked about earlier was like it's kind of like interest led right now. Like Aiden is really he'll be really into the skeleton or really into like how an engine works, and we'll just pull up YouTube videos, watch engines and like repairmen doing things, and or like there's Magic Box Animation is a great preschool anatomy thing on YouTube. It's really cool and very simple, and it's all just very child friendly with little cartoons and stuff. And they'll sit there for like an hour and watch about the tongue and the ear and the nose and like every little part, and it's so fun.
Cool. Yeah. Amazing all the resources that are out there. It's overwhelming and wonderful. Like there's just so much.
Our kids have actually learned a lot on the iPad too. Whenever we're having a rough day and I need to concentrate on something else, we're like, all right, here's the iPad. So
yeah,
someone said very helpful.
Someone says, Kendra, I love that. Have to have a hug from Mama.
I know.
Yes,
that is cute.
It works well for us. So.
Yeah,
that is fun. I like that.
Ariana, it's you again. I clicked on the question and I didn't see who asked it, but Ariana, you're asking good questions. She says, how do you ladies balance running a YouTube channel, caring for kids, and homeschooling all at the same time? Just balance, life balance. Are your hubbies all the YouTubers?
Pretty much.
Mine is. So I do like Instagram, or I video during the day for our daily vlogs, but he does all the editing and Twitter and things like that. So I'm involved in the fact that I help video for it, but besides that, it's
and the social side. You do a lot on the social side, and that's a huge part of it.
That's true. But that's the part that I really enjoy. That's the fun part, is meeting just other moms. I'm like, oh, I can do that. So
I can talk.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I do a whole lot of the YouTube side, but that's because YouTube is Tim's full-time gig. So, and part of that includes our family channel, although that's not the money part of it. So, but caring for the kids in homeschool, though, caring for the kids always comes first. Homeschooling gets put on the back burner if somebody needs help with something. I mean, and plus I feel like I long-term subbed. I have my degree in pre-K through 4th grade, and I long-term subbed when Tim and I were newly married. And in one of the classes that I got, it was a chaotic class, and really the best thing that those kids needed was just to learn how to get along with each other. And they needed a lot of like discipline structure. And so I kind of feel like that's almost more important than learning like academics, learning how to be a well-rounded person. So, and they learn the academics like throughout life. Like we're always like shocked whenever we're like, hey, how'd you learn how to do that? Like Hallie knows how to count, and she's 2. But she just, it's around the house. She sees it. So if you just have it available, they soak it in.
They do. That's so true.
That's one of the things about it. Is like, oh, sorry. I know live chat's like, go ahead, Anna.
Oh, no, I was just going to say for me, it's a little bit simpler because I think, Heidi, you run your whole thing, I think. But I don't. I'm so technically like special. I have no ability. I'll film for him sometimes if I remember. But yeah, I pretty much leave it to him to do everything, and then I'm just like along for the ride. I'm like, this is great,
You have your Wednesdays with Anna, though.
I do. He totally sets me up, and then runs out of the room. He like even presses record, and he runs out of the room, and then I start, and then I'll press stop, and he comes in and does everything else. I don't upload. I don't do anything.
Wow.
So I wouldn't know how I would ruin it or break it. I don't know what I would do. So I don't do that, but I do Wednesdays with Anna, and then I do like filming throughout the week and stuff of just our family, or if I have like a thought or an insight or something that comes like before or after Wednesday, then I'll throw that in there. But yeah, just trying to balance the home and homeschool and 3 kids and a pregnancy has proved really challenging, because there are days where you just don't feel well, or days where it's overwhelming, and I have a super active 2-year-old who is not totally into obedience, and so
really
to get his attention is really hard. So most days right now it's kind of like not always a balance, and I have to be okay with that. Some days it's like this, it's like a lot of playtime and a little bit of work, or a lot of work and a little bit of playtime, or it's just kind of go with the flow. There's not as much work of the balancing. That's not my goal every day, is to try to find a balance. It's just making sure that we're getting something done every day, and that we're all connecting and communicating well, and that the house doesn't get totally destroyed, and just knowing that they've been productive with some sort of work, chores, and that being chores and school, and stuff like that. So yeah, so I don't focus as much on like the everyday balance of things. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
I'm not really sure there is a balance of things. I don't know. Like Tim has talked with other men, like doing men's studies and stuff, and it's like it's not really a balance. It's learning how everything can fit together.
yeah.
Instead of everything having its own separate thing, trying to make its own time. It's how can you incorporate everything in together, kind of.
Yeah. Right now, the thing I found that helps me is just we kind of move as a herd. Like we don't like separate around. Like if the boys are playing outside, we just do that, and then we eat lunch, then we do this and do that. We
like Haley soccer.
Yeah, we just hang out all the time, and I don't know. Like if I'm editing it all during the day, which I try not to, they're all piled around me, and I'm trying to. Actually, Tim told me like that he's having the kids learn how to edit, kind of like doing little things.
Yeah, he'll have them do the shortcuts and like click stuff for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've tried to do that more, like not be like, oh, but say, okay. So like, and just teaching them besides saying, I don't ever want to be the mom that's like, I'm busy, like do something else. So
yeah,
I try to incorporate them.
Give a couple years of them watching you edit, they'll be editing your vlogs for you.
Oh, Aiden already wants to. The other day, he vlogged without me even knowing, and I saw the video at night.
The kids are constantly taking my camera and vlogging.
It's the cutest thing too. I totally put it in. I was like, that was great. He like asked for people to subscribe and comment. I'm like, you're fired.
You're hired.
Totally. It's the cutest thing. I'm like, oh my goodness.
That's fun.
Awesome. Someone, Amy Lynn Grew is asking, do we have a favorite devotional that we start in the morning? I've just been doing Psalms and then New Testament. So a little bit of Psalms, a little New Testament, just like to kind of balance out things. And I'm not really doing a devotional right now just because I've done that a lot in the past. And I feel like I haven't like just been in the Word for a little while, like just the Bible, like like hang out there. So I was feeling like just drawn back to the Word itself, and that's what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, that's me. I just read Scripture. I try to read one chapter each morning, and I just finished reading through Revelation, which I think I'm gonna read through that again because there's a lot in that.
Wow, that's heavy.
It is heavy. It was kind of almost a depressing way to start the day.
Yeah.
But I need to read back through it because I know I missed a lot. That I'm like, So.
Yeah, that's the way to start your day. It's like
I know.
Is the question about this topic about like the kids with their time, their scripture time, or is it about like your own personal?
It just says us. It says, do you have a favorite daily devotional to start every morning? So.
Okay.
If you do one with the kids, though, Anna, I want to know because fill me in on that.
I do.
Actually,
it's kind of sad. I can't find my Bible. The last time I saw it, the cover was ripped off, and I can't find it. But it doesn't, I mean, sadly, because I love having the Bible in my hands, but so I use my iPhone a lot right now. But I love that on the Bible app you can download all these devotionals all the time, and that really helps me. So I have like 6 devotionals going right now, I just finished one this morning. I'm trying to, it's like Amy and something, I don't know, but they have a lot of great ones for like mommies, like Don't Go Crazy, Mommy, you know, stuff like that. So I do that, but I don't even just do it for myself. Like that's my own personal one. But then I'll do, I have one of those, or I have several on my phone for the kids. And so we finished one, and sometimes they have little video clips that really engage the kids. They're like, do we get to watch
kid
video
devotion in the Bible app?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know where my phone, oh, here it is.
I'm going to look this up.
I'm trying to think, I know. So it's this Bible app. I don't know if you can see
the brown one? The Holy Bible?
Yeah. Holy Bible. And then when you go onto it, you go to plans, and then you can...
Look at this, you're teaching me something about technology.
Right? That's just crazy. Go into plans, and then after you click on plans, at the bottom it says browse plans.
Okay.
So, like, on here right now, I have kids making a difference, next step for kids, but some of these you get into them and you realize... Okay, you can go...
Yes, Kale, long life.
Woo! Totally naked. I was like, my 2-year-old is potty training himself right now.
Yeah, totally, don't feel bad.
Just taking the reins, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna use the potty right now, Mom. I'm like, all right, go ahead. Yeah. That's what happens with 3 kids.
That's funny.
So some of them you get into and you realize, like, oh, my kids are kind of either beyond this or not ready for this, or it's too much.
I'm so excited.
So right now the kids and I are going through the kindness of God, and so we talk about that. And then the one I'm going through right now is called Deeper into Scripture, and it's going through Colossians. Huh. So that's what I do every day with the kids. And then I'm so excited because Caleb had some Easter money from his grandpa, and we were at our homeschool classes place where they have like a store there too. And so he was like, can I spend my Easter money? And I'm like, sure, you can spend it here, like better than Target, you know?
Yeah.
And so he bought like a toy, and then I saw it's like a boys devotional from ages 6 to 9, and it has like this cool cover on it with like a kid on a skateboard or something, and I was like, look at this, like this is a cool devotional, you could have your own devotional. He's like, yeah, he's like, I totally want that. And so I'm really encouraging him to, on his own time, get into the Word and really embrace his own relationship.
Yeah. It's not really an age thing, like, you know, the faith of a child, you just keep feeding that, loving them.
I know.
It's not like, oh, you're officially 8, so you get a Bible now. Or I never really understood that, but
right. I know.
That's really cool. That makes me even more excited for whenever he and I can read on her own, to be able to have her own Bible.
So he has it. Yeah, he has it with him in his bed. Okay, baby, I think you're done flashing. There's a drought in California.
Sorry, comic book is really fun.
You can rely on my family for the comic relief. That will happen. But he keeps it in his bed, and he does it in the mornings now, which is really fun. And he'll come down, and I'll say, did you get your God time in? And he's like, yeah, I did. I already did it. And I'm just like, wow, that's so neat. Like he's at an age now where, I mean, not that he couldn't own it before, Heidi, you're totally right. Because
reading himself is different.
But reading himself and really embracing like that it's his, and he can like actually own it every day without mommy leading him. Like it's separate from mommy. It's his very own. So that's an exciting new development. Like literally in the last 2 weeks, I'm totally going to step away for 1 second and make sure that this is not a disaster.
Kendra, do you guys do family devotionals, or are your kids doing stuff on their own?
We do both. So the kids kind of do their own scripture time with these scripture readers in the morning. But one thing we've been working on improving on is kind of having a family scripture moment in the morning. And that's been my goal all year, but it's amazing how difficult it is to actually get it done sometimes. And anyway, but we've been really revamping it recently, and we've been starting with singing songs together. That has been really fun. Like, I love hearing my kids singing these like sweet songs about Jesus, and just it kind of calms everybody down. And so we start with that, and then we just are reading scriptures. Just kind of, I pull from whatever I feel like we're kind of needing that day. And anyway, this is something that I've been trying to do all year, and it has days when it's really successful and days when it's not. But I picked some different values at the beginning of the year that I felt like my kids and we all needed to kind of work on developing. And I emailed our grandparents about that and asked them to email me back with like different stories of when they were really kind, or they were
I'm just gonna mute her.
Really hardworking. Thanks. I'm like, I can't.
I think we're hearing potty situation.
I'm like, I can't. So anyway, we're trying to share kind of family history stories with them. When we're talking about speaking kindly to another, sharing a story from when Grandpa had that experience. And like I said, it doesn't work every day, and I don't have a million stories, but that's the goal. Like, that's where I'm wanting to go with it, is sharing scriptures and incorporating stories from their grandparents' life too. I don't know if that really makes sense, but
yeah, no,
that is cool.
Awesome. I'm looking through. There was one question that kind of piggybacked off this. Now I'm like, oh, she's back. I'm gonna unmute you now, Anna. Let's see. Did I do that right?
No, she's still muted.
No. But I can hear you again, Dana. Yay.
Oh, well, that's good. We can't hear Anna. She's just doing.
Oh, Anna, poor Anna.
You have to do it, Heidi, or Anna does.
It says muted, and I'm trying to unmute.
There you go.
That
we can hear you.
Sorry.
Dylan is totally pooping on the potty right now, all by himself.
Yay!
Yeah, Mom, look, I'm pooping. Look at my poop. And then he said, give me privacy. Give me privacy.
I wasn't sure if you wanted all of that on YouTube, so I muted it, but
thank you.
That's awesome.
I'm so proud of him. That's amazing.
That's exciting. Do you do treats for him? No.
Treats? Do I do treats?
Oh, this is a great question. Austin and Jess from Austin Jess Vlogs says, as someone who has never had kids, I'd like to know what was the biggest factor in deciding to homeschool. I like this question because I don't think it's like one way is better than another. It's all about the family's choice and like what you want for your family. And for us, it's like we have the freedom in this country to homeschool, and I'm all about having freedom. So it's like, if that's like our, like a gift basically from our country to say you can teach your own kids, because in other countries it's like outlawed and stuff. So and I know for us it's like I want to be there for all the little steps. I'm kind of selfish in that way, I guess. Like, I want to be the one to teach them and like work through problems, and if they're getting frustrated at school, teach them along the way. It's not just like, oh, I'm frustrated in math, but I'm also learning like in a godly way how to deal with my frustration through that problem. So it's always like for us incorporating our faith in schooling. So they don't really get that in the public school system. So that was probably the biggest factor for us. That's my answer.
I'm trying to think what ours is. I went to public school my whole life, and Tim was homeschooled, so it's more so Tim being the one, like, we're going to homeschool, because I have definitely tried to go against this and be like, can we please send them all to school so I can have some alone time? But I know that homeschooling does go better with our family vision and trying to just give them a really good foundation. And probably the biggest thing that I always go back to on the days that I'm like, oh, why am I doing this, is I don't know, probably about 5 years ago, I talked to one of the students that was in our youth group when we were in Minnesota, and I got to watch her. She was homeschooled all her life, and then coming into 6th or 7th grade, she and her parents were trying to figure out, should they send her into public school or should they continue homeschooling. And she was the student that would have totally followed the popular crowd and totally gone a different route had she been public schooled. They chose to homeschool her, and she is such an amazing young woman of faith, and I absolutely love following her still, since we're miles and miles and miles away now. I follow her through all of social media, and we keep in touch. And I talked to her and asked her, like, after she graduated, I was like, what do you recommend? Like, if we were to send our kids to public school at some point, would you recommend starting them in public school or ending them in public school? And she said, start them homeschooled, because you want them to have that firm foundation first. You want them to, that firm foundation. I mean, you got to set the roots for them first before letting them loose. Like, what 5-year-old is ready for the world to decipher, like, what's good and bad unless they really have that foundation? And I don't think my kids have that foundation yet to be able to go and do the opposite of what 30 other classmates are trying to get them to do.
Yeah. And it's surprising how young certain topics are brought up on the schoolyard and whatever.
Oh my goodness. Especially when those students have older siblings. Like, our yard here at home is the yard to play in our neighborhood. And so we have all the neighborhood kids over here, and most of them are older than our kids. And so I'm constantly going out there and being like, we don't play zombies in our yard. We're not pretending like we're cutting people's heads off. Like, if you want to play that, you go back to your yard. And just, like, I feel like I'm being the mom that's, like, all up in there, but my oldest is 5. She doesn't have an older sibling to go out there and stick up for her.
Yeah, and it's our job as moms to, I mean, not be like helicopter mom or whatever.
No.
Like,
But you have to know what's going on so you can step up in there.
Yeah, protect your kids and know your kids, because it could be different ages too, when maybe if your idea is like putting them in public school later, at what age, and it's going to be different for each kid. Like,
Definitely.
I was in public school in junior high, but in a very, very small private school before that. And honestly, I hope I don't hurt my mom's feelings, because she's like, oh, I shouldn't have put you in there. But it was very hard for me, and I was in junior high, and I wasn't ready. I just floundered completely. And but another junior higher could be like totally rock solid. And so.
Yeah. Well, and I went through public school all my life, and I think I turned out okay. Like, I don't think I really succumbed to the pressure. College was another story, but I don't know.
Well, Caleb did public school for several years. Oh, I'm sorry, Kendra.
Go.
Caleb did a couple years of public school, and he actually went, and he enjoyed it a lot. And I always said, I will never, ever homeschool. That's just not in my plans at all. But you know what they say, you make plans and God laughs.
Oh, yes, he does.
It's not happening. And I fought it for a good long time, and then I decided, okay, this is real, so I'm going to just be praying about it. And then it got realer, so I talked with Joel and we prayed about it. And then it was just confirmation after confirmation, so we started getting wisdom, and we read a book called So You Think You Want to Homeschool, I think it was, and that really helped point us in the right direction, and then led us to better conversations with other homeschooling people. And we thought, okay, we're gonna just try this, and we'll take it one day at a time. You know, we're not married to it, so we'll just give it a shot. And it has been such a difficult year, I'm not gonna lie, like between the pregnancy and joining, like starting without the charter and joining the charter, and then figuring out curriculums and just everything. But I feel like that's, everybody that I've talked to has said the first year is one of the hardest, and then to add on top of that the other things that we've dealt with this year. So I'm just like, okay, give it grace. I'm going to give it another year, and I can already see it getting so much better. It's already far more fluid and feels better, and so so I'm very hopeful.
I'm like, okay, like I've heard that as well, but that's definitely encouraging. Like,
yeah, I'm very hopeful going into so I'm very hopeful going into this next year, and he's going to be in 3rd grade, and I'll have a kindergartner too, so they'll both be like legitimately with the charter. So with the charter, you have standards that you have to keep up with, and you have to answer to somebody, and so that makes it a little more like rigorous, I feel like, whereas in the beginning of the year when we weren't with the charter, it felt a little more smooth. But the resources and the support that I've gained through having the charter has really helped, and I'm definitely staying with the charter through this next year because I feel like it's a good fit with our family, and I'm excited that I made the choice to switch, even though it was hard for me, and I kind of feel like I was dragged kicking and screaming, but I can see why God had that plan for us. So
yeah. What were you gonna say, Kendra? You had a comment with that too?
Our story is Jeremy went to public school his whole life, and I was homeschooled for part of my growing up, and so I have the public school and the homeschool experience. And so when it came time to decide, like, there's so many factors, and every family, just like we all have different ways of homeschooling, we all have different reasons that compel us towards homeschooling. And for us, it was really how we feel about it is it's a family culture decision. We love learning together as a family, and we love following their interests and doing like really hands-on learning. And I think Jeremy and I just had a few experiences when we were deciding to homeschool or not that were about how we learn. And we don't learn best sitting in a workshop with a PowerPoint in front of us for 30 minutes. We learn best when we're interested in something and we're diving into the books, and then we're diving into this experience, and we're into it. And so I think it was kind of thinking about what learning environment we want to have in our home, and yeah, we love the freedom and flexibility of it, and we've just really enjoyed it. It definitely has its challenging days, just like motherhood, but
yeah. I like that you pointed out like the way that you learn differently, because I definitely like I hated public school. Like I hated just having to sit and listen and do whatever they say. Like I just stopped, like, I like to read, but I wish I liked to read all my life, but I didn't like to read when somebody made me read. So I don't know. It's just, and I'm a very kinesthetic learner. Like I can't sit there and just listen to somebody and retain the information. I have to like be doing something and really working with my hands and figuring stuff out. So
I was a total public school casualty. It was like, it was awful. It was totally awful. But I still wasn't like a homeschool advocate for like myself and my family. You'd think.
Oh, I wasn't either.
When I brought the idea to Joel, he was like, "Are you kidding? I hated school. Like, why would you want to teach it? You know?" And I was like, "Right." But you know, but it makes perfect sense actually, because I totally a public school casualty, and not that I'm against it, and not that we'll never go back, and not that everyone is a public school casualty. There are obviously millions of success stories, but there are those kids that fall through the cracks because they don't fit the mold of what they're, especially these days, they're creating such a cookie cutter, you know, approach to education, and I'm like, I think that my kids are, especially Caleb, he's a lot like me, and I'm like, I think he could potentially be one of those kids that falls through the cracks, you know? So it's nice that I can devote this time to his education.
Yeah.
That's one of the negatives I see in public school system is like you get put into like groups kind of. They like, okay, this slot is for the smartest kids, and this is for the mediocre, and this is for the whatever kids. And so when I was in 7th grade, I was having so many social differences from going from a super small private school to public that my like social, like not anxiety, but I just was having a lot of issues with feeling, you know, connected and involved. And so I was labeled ADD because I was like not able to focus because I was all nervous and everything, given I was on Ritalin and like, anyway, that's a whole other story, but my mom just didn't know what to do, and that at the time was really popular, just to like hand out drugs or whatever.
Yeah. Tim's best friend growing up was homeschooled and didn't find out until she was in college that she had ADD or ADHD. But because she was homeschooled, she was able to lay on the ground and do her work or to like be wherever. Yeah. And so they never even like, she was a kid. Like it wasn't a factor of like, you're not sitting still focusing kind of deal. Like
that's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Really into not being labeled. Like with Aiden's speech delay, I don't want him ever to be labeled anything.
right.
And so, I mean, of course, there's a point if there was anything with my kids, I would obviously, listen
Right.
if there's something wrong. But I just have obviously a personal oh, I didn't really need that. I just needed to talk about someone being mean to me at school that day, or this girl bullying me, or whatever. Just I was so out of place. So I guess I could be a casualty. I didn't really enjoy high school at all. So I kind of don't talk about it because I don't want to make my mom feel bad, and I know she watches this, but it was really hard. So I'm glad to be an adult now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't miss those school years at all.
No.
Yeah, that's part of my biggest thing with homeschooling is I want my kids to enjoy learning, because I didn't enjoy learning until I think my last 2 years of school in college.
Wow.
And I really want them to, I know. And I missed out on all history. I wish I knew a lot of history, and I don't. So I'm looking forward to learning alongside with my kids of everything. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And keeping it interesting to them, and keeping their interest in learning, and just a hunger and thirst for learning. So
I like what Kendra said about how our learning styles sort of affect how we teach our kids, because if you're trying to force a different reading or a different learning style than you have on your kids, it's going to be hard for you and hard for them. You might as well choose something that you're strong in and have that be the best, the best for your kids. I love that. Thank you, Kendra. That totally clicked with me.
Because then you're excited about it too, and that'll feed off onto them.
Totally. Aw, well, thanks for hanging out today, you guys. Can you believe that was an hour?
I know, that went by fast.
Yeah, it was maybe a little less than an hour because we started a little late, but I like to end things about the right time just because dinner and all sorts of other things are happening in everyone's life. But for those of you that are on while they were napping right now, I didn't introduce myself, but my name is there in case you came from one of these other channels. But yeah, so please go check out my friends. Thank you, Anna.
Love that.
No. You crack me up. So yeah, so it's Schmovies and Live Like No One Else and J House Vlogs. These ladies are super sweet, and I've just enjoyed getting to know them. And yeah, this is what YouTube's all about, right? Interacting with everyone and meeting new people. So thank you guys for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, we will see you all another day in another vlog, Vlogsphere. Have a great night.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.